Hello one all, it's me, Dr. Stone, Chapter 149, Light, Lore, and Darkness. And wow, Senku and the gang are really getting the full American experience. The first day in America, they had burgers, they went hunting. The second day in America, they were attacked by a crazy dude with a machine gun. Only in America! And I have so very many questions about this man. I mean, for one thing, it seems like he has very advanced hardware. I mean, that machine gun does not look like something one could just build. Looks very advanced. It also seems like he has night vision goggles and a radio, which leads to, like, three very distinct possibilities. One, he is, like, a super genius on Senku's level, to the point where he single-handedly managed to make a radio, night vision goggles, and a machine gun, all by his loans himself. Two, he's with a community of people, like, there are a whole bunch that woke up for some reason. Saw up in the line saying it's not that strange for someone else to wake up the way Senku did. I mean, 3,000 years, 7 billion people. Someone else is going to have the same conditions that Senku does. That's going to help them wake up. And if this person is in fact smart, they could have found a way to recreate the formula and use it to wake up other people. There could be others with him. Third possibility is that he somehow managed to find an underground military bunker that was not destroyed, which seems very, very unlikely after 3,000 years, but America has a lot of, fallout shelters, and if you found one that somehow managed to remain vacuum sealed this entire time, I guess it could be possible that things would not have rotted or decayed in it, and they'd still be completely usable. I mean, unlikely, but that is technically possible. I mean, in the spin-off series, it's still showing the satellites fully operational after thousands of years. I mean, yes, you need to replace parts due to solar radiation wearing down on them, but other than that, it's holding together fairly well. So we managed to get a vault that is vacuum sealed, that had no air or anything living inside of it. It's entirely possible it could make it thousands of years without decaying, without rotting, and this person could have found it and used it for himself. Like I said, unlikely, but if that's not the case, then you have to be a genius near Senku's level to manage to make all this by himself, or a full army at his disposal, essentially. Either situation would be very, very bad for Senku and the team. Though I do actually have an interesting idea of why he attacked Senku. I originally thought he was, just territorial, he didn't trust people, this or that. I realized this in the middle of the night and I almost jumped out of bed. In this one panel, it seems like he has a radio and he's listening to their conversation. He heard Senku's voice, and I think he recognized it. Because the Y-Man, when he sent out that transmission 2 months ago with the ominous, strange, terrifying message, he used Senku's voice and repeated it over and over again. If this mysterious man, who I'm going to call Greg the Green Beret from now on, heard Senku's voice on the radio and recognized it as the same voice as the Y-Man, he would certainly believe that Senku had something to do with the Petrification Man, that he was part of the group, cult, whatever that did it, and that he is an enemy that needs to be taken out, that needs to be destroyed. But if Senku realizes that, and he can, use the radio again to call out to Greg the Green Beret and talk to him, it's entirely possible to convince him that he's on his side. Or at the very least, get some more information out of him and use it to set a trap so we can, put him in a cage long enough to convince him that he's not actually their enemy. I mean, best case scenario, Senku's like, we're here to make horn so we can revive people. He's like, you can revive people? I don't believe that. He's like, well, you want to just come near us? We'll revive a statue in front of you and then you can see for yourself. He's like, hey, you really did revive people. All right, I'm on your side now. Very unlikely. I definitely think it's going to lead to a battle, and I'm very excited to see it. I just freaking love this series. I mean, last chapter, we had the full panel spread of the greatest warriors in the world. Literally, the greatest warriors in the world. And I actually had to ask in that chapter, okay, who exactly could show up that could be a threat to them? The answer, a dude with a machine gun. Did not see that coming. Probably should have. This is America. Though it is entirely possible this man has already figured out the formula for making revival fluid by himself, because the corn, that's been a big point of contention for quite a while. This corn should not be growing as well or as good as it is. I've been saying that for chapters and chapters and chapters. And it seems like he's growing it himself. But Senku actually says it tastes like garbage, but you can squeeze out a crazy amount of alcohol from it. So is he growing the corn for the alcohol? Does he already know how to revive people? Or is he using it for a different purpose? Is he drinking the alcohol? Is he turning it into, like, fuel for his car or something? I'm not sure, but that's very, very strange. And I do just absolutely love this shot of Kohaku using chopsticks to pick the corn kernels out of the water as they're moving fast in the boat, showing her absolutely freaking insane reflexes. And she's also just pulling on Hyoga's hair to do it, which... oh, I love that. Anyway, then when they set up camp, Senku creates the light to attract the European corn border moth, which subsists mostly on corn. And that means there's a whole lot of corn in the area, but Senku is a little taken back by this, a little terrified by just how numerous they are, especially when Kohaku reveals that they've never seen that type of moth in Japan at all, meaning the species essentially died out. And yet they're here in such large number, it has to mean that someone, somewhere, is growing corn. And while this conversation is going on, Tsukasa is aware of it. He can feel it. He can feel the bloodlust coming from this person. I do love when Tsukasa says he's feeling someone's ki. Tsukasa has to correct him. No, ki isn't real. What he's actually feeling is what he's actually sensing is the odor of adrenaline as it breaks down. But there's something else he's feeling as well. Smoke. Smoke from a gun that's been fired recently. And at this point, even Hyoga realizes, oh, we walked right into a trap, didn't we? You know, it was a little weird that we found all those kernels of corn in the water and just followed it upstream. We were led here. To the boat now! Take cover! As they are just struck on all sides by a freaking machine gun. I do love the Tsukasa has to save Jinro, because of course he does. But yeah, so the all-star team can't really do much against a freaking machine gun. And seriously, this dude looks like a freaking monster firing the gun. I love it. Though I kind of wish that had been the full-page panel. I mean, and we get this little quarter of a page of him in the shadows of the machine gun. It's okay. And then the full panel page of Ryu announcing, never underestimated Captain in his helm, as they flee, essentially. I kind of wish that had been the full-page panel, not Ryu. We've gotten a lot of Ryu. We haven't gotten a whole lot of shots of this mysterious man firing a gun. I'm just saying. And of course he's smoking a cigarette as he says, oh, how did they know? I'm guessing he's referring to how were they able to react so quickly, how they know he was about to fire at them. You know, Tsukasa's senses and reflexes are certainly beyond human, certainly at the level of superhuman. So it makes sense that he was able to escape more quickly than Greg the Green Beret expected. And everyone is a little shaken by this whole experience. But Senku, oh, God loves Senku. He looks excited. He looks thrilled. Worst case, we're looking at a showdown against an evil scientist. Too bad for them, that's one area where I won't lose. Honestly, Senku looks like a villain here. He looks like a demented villain ready to go kill the hero. And I'm a little worried, a little terrified about what exactly Senku's gonna make next. Oh, God. And you gotta feel a little bad for Tsukasa. His whole thing early on where he refused to allow guns to be made because he's worried about them being used to control the masses, and now he's just faced with a freaking machine gun. Oh, so yeah, all of his greatest fears are basically coming true. Thankfully no one was hurt. I mean, that feels a little too... which feels a little too perfect. I kind of feel like one of them should at least gotten grazed by a bullet or something. I mean, if Jinro had gotten, like, shot in the arm or something, then they could, like, examine the bullets and they could have deduced something from that. That could have been useful. Then Jinro could have actually done something useful this chapter. Sadly, no. Yeah, but next chapter, Senku versus Greg the Green Beret. I'm very excited to see how that goes. Like I said, best case scenario, Senku's going to get a hold of him on the radio. They're going to talk back and forth, and they're going to earn their trust that way. Way more likely it's not going to happen until Senku takes him out, knocks him out, ties him up, and they have a whole conversation like that. I'm still definitely thinking that Greg the Green Beret heard the Y-Man's voice and thinks that Senku was him. Not sure, but that could definitely be an interesting twist. Link all that down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the next video. And until then, peace!